addition to the lineup, but definitely really happy to have him here. He was born and raised in San Francisco. He served in the U.S. Marine Corps. Thank you, sir. From 2003 to 2013. He met his wife Maggie in San Diego. She's also a former Marine. Is she here?
Yes.
Thank you. Not only is she a former Marine, she's Puerto Rican and from Humboldt Park. Trifecta, folks. They also have a trifecta of children and live in Pingree Grove. Is this how we pronounce this?
Pingree.
Pingree Grove, the northwest suburbs. He owns Ride On Academy and provides Motorcycle Safety Foundation's dirt bike school and adventure bike rider course here in Northern Illinois. He also coaches street motorcycle courses and sport bike courses on the racetracks. Dude, what don't you do? Seriously, he handles them all on two wheels. So please give a warm welcome to Jovani.
Well, that handled a lot of my introduction that I thought I had to do, so I'm glad that you took care of that. Thank you, Season, for having me. And thank you, Blah 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 Motorcycles, for being able to accommodate my my time on stage. So this is something new to me, and I'm really excited about doing this. But I'm used to talking to a lot of students, but talking in public is very different, and on stage. So I'll start with this. Of all the paths you take in life, make sure some of them are in dirt. That's by John Muir. So you know my introduction, but I want to spend a little bit of time about what I've done and what I do. In the last 2-3 years, I've been to Moab, Utah, done some riding out there, dual sport, adventure biking in Colorado, top right, California, Route 66. Yeah. So that's a pretty cool thing that you did too, in your experience as well. So something about Route 66 I did not know until I moved out here to Chicago. I did not know it started at Navy Pier and went all the way to Santa Monica. I thought Route 66 went across the nation for some reason, but found that out when my wife and I were hanging out downtown one day, and I said, hey, that says beginning of Route 66, why is that? So interesting stuff. Picture below that, that's Black Bear Pass in Colorado. Pretty advanced technical route going downhill into Telluride. I messed up my motorcycle going down there. Below that, another cool experience with Wyoming. So some of my buddies that I ride with these adventures are from the track, and we're all coaches at the racetrack as well. But over in Wyoming, it was really cool. I was riding through, and then all of a sudden I saw a pack of wild horses just run right next to me, and I thought that was awesome. The coolest feeling, and I just followed them. They were following me and just kept going. They led me to a pack or a herd of 60 wild horses too. And I got a little bit closer, and they kind of moved away. They got a little faster, so I picked up my speed. And then before I realized it, I was like, oh, I'm chasing them. So I better stop. Which I did really quick, but that was just an amazing feeling that you really don't get to experience anywhere else, except for out in the Wild Wild West. Middle bottom picture is something I do with the sport bikes. It's a local company called MotoVid. We teach riders how to ride on the racetrack, not race because it's not a race day, just a track day. A former speaker that has been here before, somebody I know, is Kenny down here in the front. We've known each other from the racetracks and all that. So that picture is actually over at Road America up in Wisconsin. Different skill sets, different gear, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. In the bottom right, that's over at Blackhawk Farms. We started up an adventure bike training class since it's closed, but moved into what I do with my school as far as adventure bike training goes. So that's a little bit of background with my coaching experience and riding in the last few years. I'll be using these slides, have my Instagram. You might be able to see this QR code on your phone and be able to follow me if you would like to. You'll see more pictures of the training that I do with dirt bikes, adventure bikes, dual sports, and actually do some training with kids with my school as well. But you heard a little bit about my background. Spent about 10 years in the Marine Corps. So I want to talk a little bit about that because it goes along hand in hand with the gearing up. So the Marine Corps is a force of readiness. They could deploy anywhere around the world within 6 hours, battle ready, and be able to take care of the fight. They're known as the tip of the spear for the military power as far as that goes. But how do they deploy within 6 hours is through different aircraft. So my wife and I met in San Diego, Miramar specifically, and we were in the same unit, Marine Aviation Logistics Squadron, and we got to know each other professionally. And then after hours, we'd hang out a little bit longer. But the aircraft that allows Marines to deploy around the world, this is a CH-46 or 47, I forget which one it is, but it's pretty cool. Motorcycles coming out of the aircraft. Those motorcycles are a 650 as well, Kawasaki, but different brand, KLR, and they have like they run on jet fuel. Jet fuel sounds like a really cool thing. It's just fancy diesel that everything here runs on as far as the military goes. They have the fixed wing aircraft, F-18, that would be able to deploy, but we've since developed our aircraft, and that is the LHD ship that's floating somewhere around the world right now, carrying that type of aircraft. A little hard to see from where you're at, but F-35, vertical aircraft takeoff. And then on the left-hand side of the aircraft, of the ship, you have V-22s. Those are tilt rotor aircraft. So they could take off vertically or on the runway. So a different version of a ship that the Navy offers, but that allows us to be ready to deploy anywhere in the world. And we get to work with other Marines and other service branches. The only way we could do that is through a lot of discipline. And that discipline comes from our boot camp. On the top left, or top right corner and the bottom left corner, those are Marines, those are recruits becoming Marines. It takes a 54-hour test called the Crucible to become a Marine. And then within the 54 hours, they have 3 MREs, which is called a meal ready to eat, that they have to consume over that time period, along with carrying a 70-pound backpack. And as you see in all photos, they're carrying rifles. So a lot of heavy equipment. You have to be physically fit. You have to be sharp. And they accomplish tasks along this 54-hour test that covers 48 miles. And then you could earn the title to be a Marine. So the reason I bring that up, it goes hand in hand with gearing up. There's a lot of discipline, a lot of practice, a lot of time just invested in yourself to be able to accomplish certain tasks. That will lead into being that force that can deploy around the world and be ready for any kind of fight to happen. So, any veterans here? Any other veterans? All right, I just thought I'd throw it out. Veteran Day yesterday, really cool time yesterday. I wanted to spend a little bit more time talking about that, but since there's no other veterans here, I'll move it along. But the reason I joined the Marine Corps, I knew I always wanted to be in the military. I wanted to do some cool things, and there was 2 words, all right, that really drove why I wanted to be in the military. And those 2 words are Tom Cruise. This guy is the epitome of cool, all right? I grew up watching Top Gun. He got the girl, he had the motorcycle, he flew the aircraft, and like I mentioned earlier, my wife and I met at Miramar, so it's pretty cool to be able to tie that all together, and I felt plenty of times like I was a man. But in the Marine Corps, there was a problem happening in early conflicts with the Iraqi War. There were more Marines coming back to the States, and they were dying. And they were prepared for war, but they got back, and they had a lot of money saved from the deployment because they didn't spend on anything else, and they went out and bought that fancy motorcycle. Something way overpowered for them, didn't have the skills, and there was more Marines dying on those motorcycles than in the war. And so, just like in Marine Corps fashion, we want to be at the tip of the spear. We want to spearhead a lot of issues, and we did with motorcycle safety. So we joined forces with the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, and that's where I started my coaching career as a rider coach. So I jumped in with a Motorcycle Safety Foundation. There's going to be a series of things there that I'm going to talk about with gearing up and how it relates to the topic of tonight. All right, a poster. Has anybody taken the basic rider course or any kind of safety course? A few of us. Awesome, awesome. So these are terms and posters that you probably saw within your handbooks. But acronyms are a military favorite, and so MSF was all about the same thing. Acronyms are fun. So all the gear all the time is ATGATT. If you wear all the gear all the time, then you're going to be safe. Being from California and riding out there, I always had to wear a helmet. I don't know how to ride without a helmet out here. It's so difficult for me, especially on the road. But I think this poster was mimicked from Tom Cruise, but they had to kind of change a few things up. You saw Tom Cruise earlier with no helmet riding next to a F-18 on a dangerous, fast motorcycle. That motorcycle, anybody know what that motorcycle was?
H2.
H2, is that the fastest production sport bike ever? Yeah, with no helmet, and his hair stayed perfect the whole time. I don't know how. But this poster is just to identify, hey, there's some things that you want to wear and things that you don't want to wear when you're going out. But it depends on what you're doing. So another item that we talk about in the Motorcycle Safety Foundation is the 4 preps. Make sure that you're ready to ride the motorcycle that you're going to throw your leg over. If it's too tall, if you don't have the skill sets for it, then that could be a potential problem, because if you can't touch the ground, well, you're probably going to tip over. And like previous speakers were talking about, being on a motorcycle, being overwhelmed with the size, that could be definitely play a factor. Motorcycle inspection and maintenance, you want to have an idea of what you're doing when you're throwing your leg over a motorcycle. Is it ready for the ride that you're going to take on? The next part is personal protective gear. Helmet, we talked about the gear with the fool's gear and cool gear. Making choices is a big deal with what kind of gear you're going to ride. So number 4, mental attitude, is actually one of the things that the Motorcycle Safety Foundation really focuses in on, is because if we have the right mental attitude, the first 3 are going to be taken care of. Do we know what we're riding? Do we know what we're going to ride and where we're going to take it? And do we have the right gear for it? So this is a picture of myself on my KTM 500. It is a large motorcycle. As far as off-road goes, more power than you need. But it is a dual sport, and I've taken it into those states that I showed you earlier. As far as the Motorcycle Safety Foundation goes, we want to be able to identify not just what the gear that you have to wear or the motorcycle that you're going to ride and the controls, but to have the skills to really be able to do everything that you want to do on that motorcycle. So this diagram here is a wonderful thing about being prepared for the ride. There's 3 aspects to this 360-degree rider. It is start your ride, improve your ride, and advance your ride. And to start your ride, a lot of people overlook the dirt bike school. It's a wonderful school. You ride a TTR 125 or small displacement motorcycle. You learn the skills. You learn how to control the motorcycle with a lightweight motorcycle, less than 200 pounds, and you get to do that comfortably before going to the BRC. A lot of riders don't take that course because it wasn't available here in Chicagoland for a long time. In 2022, I started that program. So Dirt Bike School is something that I focus in on, and it allows me to teach kids as young as 6 years old. So kids have been like flocking to me this year and parents really, to get their kids to ride. But I don't just do the Dirt Bike School, I also teach the basic rider course and the basic rider course with the 3-wheel motorcycle. All those skill sets, I really focus on the basics to allow people to develop their ride and control their motorcycles in the manner that they need to. The advanced rider portion, actually all 3, here in the state of Illinois, you're offered all 3 programs. So the basic rider course, the intermediate rider course, or basic rider course 2, and the advanced rider course. Those are all available to Illinoisans statewide. And they're free, well, $20 for a deposit. You can take these courses, learn a lot, and develop your skill to be able to be proficient to wherever you want to go. I'm the only one that offers the well, excuse me, the Harley Davidson does it as well. Harley Davidson, good company you like?
I love Harleys.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
The adventure bike course is offered through them and myself with off-road riding. It is a more advanced skill because you're pushing around a 450 or 500 pound motorcycle left and right off-road with low traction. It feels scary, but when the students are done with the class, there's a sense of confidence that is just amazing. So moving on to other coaching that I have done beyond dirt and street. The racetrack. The racetrack is an awesome place to learn how to ride. It does take a different skill set. And if you have those dirt bike skills, it makes riding on the racetrack so much easier because you know how to use your feet and the foot pegs that really don't get to be identified with most street courses. All right, so this is a picture of, that I had earlier, myself on Road America, 160 miles per hour, going fast. Notice the picture was different gear on. This one, I have a leather suit. Some armor has metal pieces, others have hard plastic. All right, if I was to go down at 100 plus miles per hour, I'd be able to walk away. Have I done that?
Yes.
And I've come home to be able to tell the story and have the support to continue doing it. So I focus on the beginner stages of riding on the racetrack, get you to work with body positioning and get comfortable with riding in this different environment. But riding the different disciplines, off-road with low traction or on-road with great traction or on the racetrack with even better traction. There's different types of skill sets that are involved and it will help you be a more complete rider. So as far as gearing up, you can see that there's a lot of different gear and even the motorcycle is different. Tire wear, tire tread, different designs. Use the right motorcycle for the right environment. Last little bits I want to talk to you about is the what I'm wearing. Backcountry Discovery Routes. I became a Backcountry Discovery Route ambassador. I go out and do movie premieres at different dealerships. This year I did it at MCC, anybody know where that is? Yeah. Villa Park. And then over at Woodstock, Harley Davidson, we had over 100 people in attendance and showed them a video that just came out for BDR. This last year was Northern California, 900 miles of backcountry roads of good times. If you want to learn more about it, I did pass out some pamphlets earlier about the BDR. You can read through it. It talks about some other things that they're all about. BDR is a 501c non-profit organization, but they do it because they love the sport and the environment of adventure riding. So if you're interested in doing that, I have some cards I can pass on to you. But finish up with the last little bit. This is my school, Ride On Academy. So the earlier QR code was just for my Instagram. This one takes you to Ride On Academy Facebook page. You'll see some other videos that I put out there that I don't show on my website. So people love to see the videos and see themselves in actions. You'll see kids do amazing things. Some of my kids that ride with me, dads have been riding for 10,000 miles plus and they know it all on road. And then they have their kid train with me. We take them out on the trails and I say, Dad, you could follow along if you could keep up. And they're amazed. They're shocked on how well their kids could actually wheel a motorcycle beyond Dad's skills because he hasn't been exposed to riding on the dirt. So I think that is it for now.
Woo!
Thank you.
Well, you know, thinking about Tom Cruise and all, I think that he was at GATT for that those scenes when he's riding the motorcycle for Top Gun, right? Because he was all glue all the time with that hair. Just in perfect place. What Jovani's talking about, right? We all know this. We know how to be properly geared up. We choose whether or not we want to be properly geared up. And I think really that's, you know, you're highlighting a lot of what's really important for us as motorcyclists is, you know, you do need different skills for different types of motorcycles. And as we kind of gain our skills, we just become better and better motorcyclists. And, I know people in the audience here have done dirt bike school training, have done racetrack training, and have, taken adventures on the BDR, whether or not they're truly prepared for it or not. But, we all get out there and we figure it out, and all we know is like, I gotta get myself geared up for this. I have to get myself ready mentally, physically, with gear. Gave John a good hug back there, and he's armored head to toe. He's ready for this cold evening on a bike. So, we get ourselves geared up for all of those things. Thank you for making sure that not only are you staying safe, but your family's staying safe, and those around us are staying safe as well. So thank you so much.